What's up, everybody? It's your man's SJ. Appreciate you joining us once again. We are picking up John C. Maxwell, the 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader. I am reporting to you live today from a beautiful undisclosed location, although I know some of those internet detectives out there can figure it out easily enough. So let's dive right in. Man, last time, I think I read chapters 3 and 4. That was a recap episode. But for those that have been following along, I'm pretty sure we should be at 9 and 10, something like that. Maybe even 11 and 12. Let's see here. 10 is initiative. I know that I read initiative. Yeah, let's dive right in. Number 11, listening. To connect with their hearts, use your ears. Two quotes to start every chapter. The ear of the leader must ring with the voices of the people. Woodrow Wilson, American president. Second quote. A good leader encourages followers to tell him what he needs to know, not what he wants to hear. John C. Maxwell. As much as she talks, she listens more. Who would you include in a list of the most influential people in the United States? Certainly the president would make that list. So would Alan Greenspan. Michael Jordan might make it. He is the most recognized face on the planet. You could argue for Bill Gates to be on it. Stop for a moment and think about the people you would include. Now, I want you to add a name that you might not have considered. Oprah Winfrey. In 1985, Winfrey was practically unknown. She appeared in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple, and she was the host of a local morning talk show, which she had been doing in Chicago for a year. What success she had achieved could be attributed to her ability to talk. Communication with people is how I always developed any kind of value about myself, explains Winfrey, and she received praise for it early in life. I remember being 2 years old and speaking in church and hearing people say, "That child sure can talk. That is one talking child." But Winfrey also did more than her share of listening. In fact, the ability to listen has been a chief characteristic of her life. She is an, ooh, fun word. She is an inveterate. Am I saying that right? Inveterate. I don't know that word. Somebody drop the definition for me. She is an inveterate learner, and her listening ability got its start as she absorbed the wisdom of writers. She devoured fiction and biographies, learning about how other people feel and think. And in the process, she also learned about herself. That bent towards listening has served her well in every aspect of her career. Its application is obvious for her television show. She is constantly observing and listening to find issues to address on the air. And when she brings celebrities, authors, or experts on her show, she genuinely listens to what they have to say. Music star Madonna said about her, "She has been in the public eye for so long, yet she has this amazing rapport with people. I don't know how she does it. She does it through listening." Oprah Winfrey's ability to listen has been rewarded with remarkable success and incredible influence. She is the highest paid entertainer in the world and is worth nearly $500 million. Each week, 33 million people in the United States alone watch her show. Despite her show's success, she recently gave thought to discontinuing it, but instead she decided to revamp it. How did she decide what changes to make? She asked her staff. "It doesn't have to be work," she told them. "Making changes on this show is like making changes in our lives. It can be fun to do. So let's stretch. What can we do to make it more fun?" She had lots of doubts about one of the ideas her people came up with, but she also had enough wisdom to listen to it and give it a try. The idea was for a book club. As you probably know, the success has been phenomenal. Hundreds of thousands of people are learning and growing by reading, some for the first time, and Winfrey is delighted. Her goal in life is to add value to people, and she succeeds because she listens. Fleshing it out. In the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, y'all think I should read that book too? Maybe next? Let me know. In the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, I point out that leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. That's the law of connection. But before a leader can touch a person's heart, he has to know what's in it. He learns that by listening. An unwillingness to listen is too common among poor leaders. Peter Drucker, the father of American management, believes that 60% of all management problems are the result of faulty communications. I would say that the overwhelming majority of communication problems come from poor listening. A lot of voices are clamoring out there for your attention. As you think about how to spend your listening time, keep in mind that you have two purposes for listening: to connect with people and to learn. For that reason, you should keep your ear open to these people. Number one, your followers. Good leaders, the kind that people want to follow, do more than conduct business when they interact with followers. They take the time to get a feel for who each one is as a person. Philip Stanhope, the Earl of Chesterfield, believed, quote, many a man would rather you heard his story than granted his request. If you're in the habit of listening only to the facts and not the person who expresses them, change your focus and really listen. Number two, your customers. A Cherokee saying states, listen to the whispers and you won't have to hear the screams. I am amazed by the leaders who are so caught up in their own ideas that they never hear their customers' concerns, complaints, and suggestions. In his book, Business at the Speed of Thought, Microsoft CEO Bill Gates said, unhappy customers are always a concern. They're also your greatest opportunity. Good leaders always make it a priority to keep in contact with the people they're serving. Number three, your competitors. Sam Markowitz announced, if you don't agree with me, it means you haven't been listening. I felt that deep, that Sam knows what's up. Though he was no doubt making a joke, the sad truth is that when a leader sees another organization as competition, he focuses his attention on building his own case, championing his case, and forgets to learn from what the other group is doing. Larry King says, I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening. As a leader, you don't want to base your actions on what the other guy is doing, but you should still listen and learn what you can to improve yourself. Four, your mentors. No leader is so advanced or experienced that he can afford to be without a mentor. I've learned so much from leaders who have more experience than I have, people such as Melvin Maxwell, my father, Elmer Towns, Jack Hayford, Fred Smith, and J. Oswald Sanders. If you don't already have a mentor, go out and find one. If you can't get someone to help you in person, begin the process by reading books. That's where I got started. The main thing is to get the process underway, reflecting on it. Are you a good listener? I know when I started in leadership, I wasn't. I was too busy doing my own thing and trying to make things happen. But once I slowed down and paid greater attention to what was going on around me, I found that my activity had sharper focus and accomplished more. When was the last time you really paid close attention to people and what they have to say? Do more than just grab onto facts. Start listening not only for words, but also for feelings, meanings, and undercurrents. Bringing it home. To improve your listening, do the following. Change your schedule. Do you spend time listening to your followers, customers, competitors, and mentors? If you don't have all four groups on your calendar regularly, you're probably not giving them enough attention. Pencil in time for each of them on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Meet people on their turf. A key to being a good listener is to find common ground with people. Next time you meet with an employee or a customer, discipline yourself to ask 4 or 5 questions about him as a person. Get to know who he is and seek common ground to build your connection. Listen between the lines. As you interact with people, you certainly want to pay attention to the factual content of the conversation. Don't ignore the emotional content. Sometimes you can learn more about what's really going on by reading between the lines. Spend time in the coming days and weeks listening with your heart. Daily takeaway. President Theodore Roosevelt was a man of action. He was also a good listener. He appreciated that quality in other people. Once at a gala ball, he grew tired of meeting people who returned his remarks with stiff, mindless pleasantries. So he began to greet people with a smile, saying, I murdered my grandmother this morning. I didn't expect that. I'm sorry. Most people, so nervous about meeting him, didn't even hear what he said. One diplomat did. Upon hearing the president's remark, he leaned over and whispered to him, I'm sure she had it coming to her. The only way to find out what you're missing is to start listening. Good stuff. Chapter 11, Listening, from the 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader. Listening is harder than it sounds, I think, especially when you're a good speaker. It's one of those things for me personally, I can't speak for anyone else. It's like, I definitely want good listeners around me because I feel like I'm a good speaker. I'm going to take the time to curate my message, craft what I'm saying, choose my words intentionally. And it's important that you are able to listen with that same intentionality. that same ability to, I am going to focus on listening the same way he is focused on presenting a good message. And I feel that sometimes, a lot of times, to be honest, other people communicate so poorly that I just don't give the effort to listening. If you're not going to take the time to curate your thoughts and refine your words, why should I have to do all that work on the back end? You say, oh, and I'm supposed to go and figure out how that actually meant, well, 20 years ago. Why do I have to do all of that? I don't get it. I appreciate the book. I appreciate the chapter. I'm certainly going to work on it, but that's my take. I'll be a better listener when you start talking better. Chapter 12. Take this life and love it. Two quotes. When a leader reaches out in passion, he is usually met with an answering passion. John C. Maxwell. He's sliding a lot of little quotes in his own book. I like that. And just the whole book is his quote, right? When you think about it like that. Anyway, number two, anyone can dabble. But once you've made that commitment, your blood has that particular thing in it, and it's very hard for people to stop you. Bill Cosby, comedian. Pizza sauce in his blood. In the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, I tell the story of Papa John's Pizza and how the company, founded in 1984 by John Schnatter, grew from 1 to 46 stores in its first 7 years, and then from 46 to 1,600 in the 7 years after that. The phenomenal success the company experienced in the second half was due to the law of explosive growth, which says to add growth, lead followers, to multiply, lead leaders. But what was the key to Papa John's success in the first half? The answer is passion. John Schnatter not only eats Papa John's pizza, he breathes, sleeps, and lives it. It is always his predominant thought. Lehman Brothers analysis Michael Spicer said of him in Success magazine, pizza is Shatner's life, and he takes it very seriously. Schnatter's philosophy is simple and straightforward. Concentrate on what you do well, he advises, and do it better than anybody else. What he does well is lead the fastest growing business of its kind in the world, and he enjoys it so much that he is always in the thick of things. Recently, he went to visit a franchise owned by his wife, Annette, in downtown Louisville, and found that the store was unexpectedly swamped with orders. What did he do? He jumped in and helped make pizzas for an hour and a half. It's something he loves doing. He visits stores 4 or 5 times a week, often unannounced, just to make sure everything's on track. Talking about my dreams for a pizza business at age 22, people thought I was crazy, Schnatter has said. Vendors, bankers, and even some friends just laughed when I told them I'd be opening 5 or 6 stores a month. Now he regularly opens an amazing 30 stores a month, a new store every day of the year. And he wants to increase that. Franchise opened in Mexico, and Schnatter has plans to expand into Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and other foreign markets. He doesn't intend to stop until he leads the largest seller of pizza in the world. He just might do it because he loves it and he's giving it everything he's got, fleshing it out. Experts spend a lot of time trying to figure out what makes people successful. They often look at people's credentials, intelligence, education, and other factors. But more than anything else, passion makes the difference. David Sarnoff of RCA maintains that nobody can be successful unless he loves his work. If you look at the lives of effective leaders, you will find that they often don't fit into a stereotypical mold. For example, more than 50% of all CEOs of Fortune 500 companies had C or C minus averages in college. Nearly 75% of all US presidents were in the bottom half of their school classes. And more than 50% of all millionaire entrepreneurs never finished college. What makes it possible for people who might seem ordinary to achieve great things? The answer is passion. Nothing can take the place of passion in a leader's life. Take a look at 4 truths about passion and what it can do for you as a leader. Number 1, passion is the first step to achievement. Your desire determines your destiny. Think of great leaders, and you will be struck by their passion. Gandhi for human rights, Winston Churchill for freedom, Martin Luther King Jr. for equality, Bill Gates for technology. Anyone who lives beyond an ordinary life has great desire. It's truly in any field. It's true in any field. Weak desires bring weak results. just as a small fire creates little heat. The stronger your fire, the greater the desire and the greater the potential. Number two, passion increases your willpower. It is said that a dispassionate young man approached the Greek philosopher Socrates and casually stated, "O great Socrates, I come to you for knowledge." The philosopher took the young man down to the sea, waded in with him, and then dunked him under the water for 30 seconds. When he let the young man up for air, Socrates asked him to repeat what he wanted. "Knowledge, O great one," he sputtered. Socrates put him under the water again, only that time a little longer. After repeated dunkings and responses, the philosopher asked, "What do you want?" The young man finally gasped, "Air! I want air!" "Good," answered Socrates. "Now, when you want knowledge as much as you wanted air, you shall have it. There is no substitute for passion. It is fuel for the will. If you want anything badly enough, you can find the willpower to achieve it. The only way to have that kind of desire is to develop passion. Number three, passion changes you. When you follow your passion instead of others' perceptions, you can't help becoming a more dedicated, productive person. And that increases your ability to impact others. In the end, your passion will have more influence than your personality. Number four, passion makes the impossible possible. Human beings are so made that whenever anything fires the soul, impossibilities vanish. A fire in the heart lifts everything in your life. That's why passionate leaders are so effective. A leader with great passion and few skills outperforms a leader with great skills and no passions. Reflecting on it, despite the power of passion, many people in our culture seem to believe that passion is something to be suspicious about. Sociologist Tony Campolo has observed we are caught up at a particular stage in our national ethos, in which we are not only materialistic, but worse than that, we're becoming emotionally dead as people. We don't sing, we don't dance, we don't even commit sin with much enthusiasm. Hey, imagine boring. Ooh. Is passion a characteristic of your life? Do you wake up feeling enthusiastic about your day? Is the first day of the week your favorite? Or do you live from weekend to weekend, sleepwalking through your everyday routine? How long has it been since you couldn't sleep because you were too excited by an idea? If passion is not a quality in your life, you're in trouble as a leader. The truth is that you can never lead something you don't care passionately about. You can't start a fire in your organization unless one is first burning in you, bringing it home. To increase your passion, do the following. Take your temperature. How passionate are you about your life and work? Does it show? Get an honest assessment by querying several coworkers and your spouse about your level of desire. You won't become passionate until you believe passion can be the difference maker in your life. Return to your first love. Many people allow life and its circumstances to get them off track. Think back to when you were just starting out in your career, or even further back to when you were a child. What really turned your crank? What could you spend hours and hours doing? Try to recapture your old enthusiasm. Then evaluate your life and career in light of those old loves. What's so crazy about that little blurb right there is reading is my passion. The more and more I read this book, the more it's talking to me. And I appreciate that. Associate with people of passion. It sounds hokey, but birds of a feather really do flock together. If you've lost your fire, get around some fire lighters. Passion is contagious. Schedule some time with people who can infect you with it. Daily takeaway. General Billy Mitchell, a career Army officer, was assigned to an aviation section in 1916. That's where he learned to fly, and it became the passion of his life. Though aircraft played a minor role in World War I, he could see the military potential of air power. After the war, he began a campaign to convince the military to create an air force. He provided demonstration after demonstration of what airplanes could do, but met strong resistance. Frustrated, he forced the Army to court-martial him in 1925. A year later, he resigned. Only after World War II was Mitchell exonerated, posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. He was willing to pay any price for what he knew was right. How about you? Chapter 12, Passion, from the 21 Indisputable Qualities of a Leader by John C. Maxwell. Passion is dangerous. It's very, very important. I think I agree with everything that was said there, almost everything. I think you have to guard it. I don't think he talked about the guarding of your passion. Passion is attractive. The same way that You buy high quality groceries for your home to feed your body and your mind. Mice are attracted. Rodents are attracted. Insects may be attracted. They're not malicious. They're not out to get you, but your high quality thing is attractive to you and everybody else that needs, food and nourishment. I feel that same way about passion. I think he did touch on this from a different perspective where he says, put yourself around fire lighters. I love that as opposed to firefighters. I never heard that term fire lighters, but I like that. I just think that it's very important with your passion to only share that with other passionate people. He spoke about multiple examples when he was talking about Papa John and how he would talk to his friends and family and they would laugh at him. Huge respect to that man for continuing to go on. And I would say even more so if he continued to go on and still consider those people to be friends. Your passions are going to open the door for people to share their opinions on your life. When you're just going through your day to day, you're fine. When you're passionate about something, everyone has an opinion, whether that's to support it, which is sometimes rare, or to tell you how they could never. Even the encouragement can kind of be like, I don't know how you're doing that. I would never put myself in that position, but hey, you like it. I love it. Right. You get those kind of compliments. And so that passion is truly the only thing that's going to push you through those moments. It's the only thing once they start getting in your ear or trying to get into your ear that's going to allow you to block them out. And you have to also at the same time kind of temper that dynamic so that you can hear your mentors, right? It was just talking about listening. If you're so passionate about something or if you've got an idea so deeply lodged into your own mind that no one can advise you on it or even help you with it, if that makes sense, right? Say, I want to help you. I believe in your passion. Here's how we go about it. And you just don't see the vision. It can be tough. Again, I certainly don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing what comes to my mind after reading the book. And with that said, I try to keep these short, brief, very succinct. I appreciate your time. You could be anywhere in the world right now watching any video, but you're here, and I appreciate that. So with that, I will sign off. It's Jay. I very much appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.